So, hello everyone. In this video, I'll show you a clear example of how to replace the front CV joint on a front-wheel drive vehicle. In this case, it is a Ford. The replacement system, almost identical in its nuances, does not differ much on front-wheel drive vehicles. That's why we do it. Initially, we put the car on gear, not in park, but in gear. We take some chocks, bricks, and place them under the rear wheels. After that, we jack it up. I'm jacking it up with 2 jacks, using hydraulic jacking, because he can go down over time under mechanical load. I'm making a support. I jack it up from the desired location. Not on the body. Not on the thresholds. Not on the control arms, but on the mounting points of the beam. After we have removed the wheel, we need to remove, in my case, he is mine. It's going to get in way. In my case, the brake caliper, remove the caliper, and remove the brake disc. So the caliper at the back is secured with 2 bolts. On that side, we unscrew them and take them off. Caliper. Let go. We definitely need to take a piece of wire, rope, or something like that. Here's a regular piece of wire. Why do we need this when we take it off now? We'll break the pads off the brake disc so it doesn't dangle on the brake line. We'll hang it up carefully. Behind the strut. We carefully take a screwdriver, a wide one, not a sharp one, some tools, and gently, so as not to damage the brake pads. And we open it a little so that the baby comes out. It will be different on some car models. Just like that, since there's already wear on the brake disc, the pads have settled in, so we do this carefully. I'm taking off the protective cover here because I have one like this. We pulled out. So as we can see, I already have the brake caliper with me. And carefully, so they don't fall out. We pull out the brake pads, we take out the pads, and we set them aside into the little crown. So we take our stick and we tie up our brake caliper. Now we are removing the brake disc. Let's set it aside too. And now our task is unscrew the nut of the hub bearing. So initially we take an impact screwdriver and a hammer. And it has segments on it. There was a law, it was given. We take one edge. As we saw, then we went back, we loosened the pole. We took socket. And they didn't put the wheel on, they started the car, took the head and twisted it. The nut bearing. And so besides that, the investigators are on mic. We need to remove the ball joint to fit it onto the strut. To fit it, twist the cover. Throwing the pores. Take drain plug, and we, carefully, remove the ball joints to avoid damage. Here we are all set. If there's no puller, then you can specifically brace it. Here, you quietly lift it up and put something underneath. In general, the game is not really there at all. Loosen it. Down. The dust cover, the ball joint, was with you, Putin. And it's coming out for us. So now look. We move it aside this much. And we pull it out from this side, the ball joint. And so what didn't happen, so it doesn't fall out from where the girl is. Chance. Ready, and we just produce the tooth. And so, as we can see, it didn't come off right away. The strip, show us. It didn't come off because it was very inconvenient. You can't get in from here. To remove it, I took off the string of the spike. I took off the boot, just pulled it out for Roman. You carefully put the hook back. Keep everything clean. And I didn't take off the clamp. Then I just put it on stretched. 1. And everything on the CV joint now. I'm looking here. This is how it is secured. Now I'll show you. There it is. The stop ring needs to be picked out from there. Then the CV joint fall out. Gave birth to a retaining ring. And the channel completely fell out. And here is our new CV joint. And Revolevsky grease definitely comes with it. The snap ring is inserted here. We initially pack it with grease, a lot of it, and then we install it on the half shaft. Snap ring deva snuz, shusa deva. The snap ring diva. The snooze and shusadeva go on the half shaft, and then it just clicks into place. So we definitely put it back in place with additional grease. It likes more grease here. And I wrapped everything up carefully when I pulled it out. I put on the boot. And now with these kinds of movements, the grease is going away, so we add the whole tube. The frame is 90 with 100. It will fit right in there. Once we assembled the CV joint, we attached it to the bar. These are the kinds of clamps. They are indeed the best. Of course, you can buy a regular one like the one with a screwdriver, but these would be better. We assembled everything back in reverse order. We tightened everything, the nut, and checked it. And we put on the clamp or the boot on the CV joint. Tightened. In this way. We put the wheel back in place. Pulled plug. The plug, lowered it, tightened it. We lifted it, took it off, and that's it. And that's all I wanted to say about replacing the CV joint, that it's not that difficult, as it seems in reality. I think that if we were doing it on the table, we wouldn't take less than the cost of the CV joint itself, at least in hryvnias. 300 took for the house. It started well. And I wouldn't say they packed the grease in there well, as we want to fill every little gap. We pushed it in. Tightened it well, put the boots back on, changed the nut, and checked the boot on the ball joint, adding grease again. I also added a bit of grease to the ball joint boot. So when you do it yourself, you just see how it was made. I looked at the spare parts. You treat the car with care and do it this way. Just for yourself, you do it differently. To earn money, to quickly get a new job, a new department car for yourself, so that you have business longer. I also want you to pay attention. If you're going to change it, there's a chance that the grease can get onto the axle shaft. It might get onto the axle shaft, but it might not fit into the hub itself. For example, on my Ford, my old Escort, I have in the hub different quantity. There are 2 shells, one a little bit, another 1 diameter smaller, 1 diameter larger, different number of hubs. Well, I didn't know this, for example, because Mason came and said 1.6 gasoline, there's an injector. Well, and I told him there's still ABS, and he told me what? There is a difference in the highway, there is a difference. Look at the hub with or without APSKY. And different hubs are used. So I was driving it, and that's why I was already ready to install it. I took it out of the box. It's good that I checked. I estimated the bicep paste, and it just has some play, it doesn't touch. Cramps. So I had to go and change it. It's time again. I spent money on the road again, but in the end I still ended up in the black because I did the driving myself, and will check that it will drive and work for me. So, do everything with your own hands. Good luck to you.